Hello, and Happy New Year. I just wanted to sit down and wish you guys a quick Happy New Year. It is now 10:50 on the first day of 2019, and I wanted to just kind of quickly go over. This is a time when people create goals. They write down a lot of things. They plan. We all take the time to plan things we want to do throughout the year. But I wanted to go over quickly just how you go about planning, how you go about creating those goals, the thought process behind them. And I think it's very important to understand that there are a lot of pitfalls along with writing goals that we have to be careful for, which is part of the reason that we create actionable and thought out goals instead of just writing down ideas for the year. For example, when I was younger, I used to write a lot of goals are based around, like I want to have $1 million by the time I'm a certain age, or I want to visit a certain amount of countries or something. But I never would put an actionable plan together to say, like, I'm going to take these steps to get there. It was just a list of items I wanted to complete. And I think that although that is good and it kind of gives you a general idea of where you want to go, it puts a lot of expectations on yourself, especially if you're saying, like, I'm going to be this by the time I'm this age. Puts a lot of expectations on yourself, and it's very easy for us, if we don't create actionable and realistic items on our list, to get very discouraged, to feel very down on ourselves, to feel very disappointed in ourselves, because we put the expectation on ourselves that we're going to reach this goal. And because there are no actionable steps, nothing we can physically or substantially do to reach those goals, it just plummets and then it can cause your self-esteem to go downwards. It can cause a lot of things. But I just wanted to quickly reach out and say, write your goals down. I used to do the 1, 3, 5, 10, and 20-year goals. Personally, I think anything after like 3 to 5 years is more of an idea than an actual goal. I think it's great to have them. Like if you're saying, I want to go to law school, that's great because you can take actionable steps to get to law school. But I also think that in a lot of ways, our lives change so much within 3 to 5 years that for us to plan specific goals 5 years out is really tough to do, just because so many things change in our lives. Our way of life changes, our thought process changes, our friends change, our surroundings change in that span of time, especially when you're in your younger years, that it's very hard to say, I want to do a specific thing 10 years from now. Now, not to say that it's impossible. I'm just saying that it becomes a little bit more of an idea, something you write on a list, like I would love to do this in 10 years. But it's something where you keep it on your list, and then when it gets down to like 3 or 5 years, you're like, okay, now I can take actionable steps to get to that point. Or if it's something where it's like, I want to get to college in 10 years, that's an actionable step because you can say, I want to reach these kinds of grades, or I want to, finish high school, go to college, apply for these specific schools. That makes sense. But if you're just like, I want to own a Lamborghini in 10 years, it could happen. Yeah, you could definitely make enough money to do that. You could definitely make it happen. But maybe you're not going to like that Lamborghini in 10 years. Maybe there's something new in 10 years that you would like to have. Like, it's something that you've got to be very careful about how you plan for those things, and how you go about formulating your goals and your ideas. So one thing I would encourage you to do is write down, if you've had issues with completing and writing down goals in the past, I would say write down 10 or less goals. Last year I only wrote down, I think, 4 goals. And because I was getting to this point where I was writing down 50 to 70, 100 goals for the year, and it's just like, it's too much to keep track of all the time. So last year I just wrote down a few goals, and it was very easy to keep on track because I wrote down specific items I would do throughout the year to complete those goals. So I would say definitely write down fewer goals if that's, or if you're new to writing goals or whatever, write down just a few simple goals. Put a time limit on it. Like, let's say, let's say I want to lose 10 pounds. And then you say, I want to lose 10 pounds by March 15th. And then you say, to lose 10 pounds by March 15th, I will have to lose half a pound a week for the next, I'm just kind of doing math in my head right now, but it's less, probably about a pound a week, something like that, for the next, 10 weeks. And then make sure that you are keeping on track with, to lose that amount of weight, I will need to eat this amount of calories, I'll need to work out X amount of time, I will need to do these kinds of workouts, and you plan it all out. So you're equipping yourself to complete your goal. You're giving yourself the tools to complete that goal instead of just putting a goal out there and then waiting till March 1st and be like, oh no, I have 15 days to lose 10 pounds. And that's very unrealistic at that point. So make sure that you plan ahead, make sure that you have specific goals, make sure that you put a time limit on those goals. Because if you're like, I want to lose 10 pounds, but you don't say by when. I mean, you could say I want to lose 10 pounds this year. That'd be fine, because then you're basically giving yourself a time limit till the end of December of 2019. But if you give yourself a time limit that's a little bit, in my opinion, that's a very, very generous time limit to lose 10 pounds in a full year. But if you're like, I'm at this weight right now and I want to keep, I want to stay at this weight, or lose, by the end of the year, I want to be within this 10-pound range, that's fine. But if it's something like I want to lose, maybe this is another better example. Maybe I want to lose 30 pounds this year, but I'm going to say I want to lose 10 pounds by March 15th. I want to lose another 10 pounds by July 4th, and I want to lose another 10 pounds by October 31st, so that you'd have all 30 pounds down by October 31st. And that way you give yourself milestones throughout the journey, instead of just saying, I'm going to lose 30 pounds by October 31st. So make sure that you take actionable steps to complete those things. And if you're planning something where you have a total amount of time that you're going to spend on something, or a total amount of money you want to make or something, make sure you give yourself milestones throughout the journey to kind of check in on yourself and be like, okay, am I on track? Am I not? What do I have to change to get on track? Am I ahead of schedule? And then you basically take the time to look through all of your steps and create an actionable goal. So that's when everyone talks about, having a time limit, having, actionable and realistic goals. It's basically just taking the time to give yourself the tools to actually complete those goals, instead of just writing goals for the fun of it. Because writing goals for the fun of it never gets anyone anywhere. It's just basically writing down dreams and visions, and giving yourself some time to feel good about things you want to do. But then it doesn't give you any tools to actually complete those things or actually reach those goals, because you're not planning ahead for them. You're just saying, these are things I'd love to do someday. Like, I'd love to go to Antarctica someday. Not really, well, maybe, but if you're just saying, like, I'd love to go to, Greenland or Iceland or something, and don't plan it, you're never gonna get there. You actually have to say, like, I wanna save up money, I wanna buy a plane ticket, I want to, visit these places. It's not something you're just gonna be like, I'd love to go somewhere, I'd love to do something. So make sure, so again, I would say write down 10 or fewer goals, maybe even 5 or fewer, if you really have 5 things you can narrow it down to, that you can make actionable goals. So I would say 5 goals, and then beneath all those goals, I'd put 5 bullet points for each one. One of those bullet points is going to be a time frame. The other three more of those bullet points are going to be check-in milestones. And then the last one is the reward you're going to give yourself at the end for completing that goal. Now, if it's something food related where you're like, I'm going to lose this X amount of pounds, I would not say that your reward is that you're going to go out and eat a ton of pizza. I would say that maybe if you're going to lose a certain amount of pounds, maybe your reward is that you're going to go shopping at the end. or you're gonna go buy yourself that, outfit you've always wanted, or whatever. Or you're gonna go, sit out on the beach or go to the pool and wear your new swimsuit. Something like that is kind of a reward, instead of, like, oh, I haven't binged on anything for the last 6 months, so I'm just gonna go crazy and binge on a ton of stuff. So make sure that your reward doesn't compromise your goal, if that makes sense. So that was just a quick kind of thought on goals. This is unscripted, just kind of throwing this out there. Just some things I was thinking about earlier, as my New Year's Eve is always a tradition for me where I write my goals. But I would say that make sure that you stick to a realistic number of goals, and then you create actionable steps beneath all those goals that keeps you on track, that gives you a time frame, and then you have a reward at the end of it that you can look forward to. And then finally, you guys can look forward to, I'm going to be posting my goals and visions for this year and the milestones that I'm looking forward to this year as I turn 30. And I'm going to be pretty aggressive with some of these goals, and probably not going to follow some of my advice that I just shared. Because as it is a year 30 for me, I am going to be doing 30 goals that relate to the number 30. So it is a very aggressive goal plan. But I will share that with you, and I will also post all of my goals on Instagram. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's going to be right there on the bottom of your screen. And then, so yeah, I will be posting that soon, and I hope you guys look forward to it. And I will share with you the process of how I take those goals and write milestones for each one, and write rewards for each one, and a time frame for each one, so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. And then as the year progresses, I will be documenting my process on all of them. So Happy New Year. Look forward to 2019. This year is our year. If you've had a rough 2018 or a rough past couple of years, we can look forward to 2019. There's a lot to look forward to here. Even if there are things coming up that you're kind of apprehensive about, 2019 can be your year, and you can achieve your goals. You can create the life that you want for yourself by taking the time to plan it out and take control of your time instead of letting life happen to you. So thank you very much. Happy New Year. I look forward to seeing you guys soon.